You keep shifting your mediums. You use resin on one day, you'll use beeswax on the other day, you'll use bones on the other day, you've used metal, you've used wood, you've also used terracotta. So like you're not, someone might say, the word for you is, I don't know, what are you? Like if someone asks you, if you have an elevator pitch and you're like, hi, I'm a sculptor. Someone asks you, what's your medium? What's your answer? And I know what the answer is going to be, but can you expand on that answer? And
no, maybe it's interesting to say how I started thinking in that direction.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That may be helpful.
Yeah.
In the beginning,
yeah,
I didn't work called export design.
Yeah.
So it's especially on kidney racketing, like all this kidney, in Bangalore, there's a huge kidney racket busted out.
Okay.
And I thought I will make it work, and I made the work and everything. When I showed this work to Mr. Dilip Ranade, he pointed out an quality in the work. He specially said, oh, it's very interesting that, you a diagram of kidney, you have done that on a wood, like a woodcut method.
Yeah.
Like in the graphic, people use a woodcut method to print, right?
Yeah.
So what they use is a very sharp tool.
Yeah.
This sharp tool, you are using it to engrave this wood.
Yeah.
So he said the concept and the idea goes very well together. This idea really stuck me.
Yeah.
That the question comes, medium and the concept goes together, and it's interesting. Why? I mean, you have to kind of have an experience, right?
Yeah.
So this really lighted up. Oh my God! So that is how media and the material and the idea all falls in place, and it becomes much more powerful. For me, sometimes it's almost like a watercolor. If you are using, like for me in the mud work, which I was explaining.
Yeah.
In the bicycle, when you are riding, I said you get a strip on your back.
Yeah.
So now, if you put more water into the mud, it becomes almost like a watercolor, very thin.
Yeah.
And in the wall, I have thrown lichen watercolor. So it spreads very thin.
Yeah.
The other side, I deliberately put a very thick mud so that it goes like a impasto, like a oil color.
Very chunky. Yeah.
Yeah, very chunky. So, as the time passed, it's like it almost looked like a thick impasto or a thick oil paint. So you are learning from different quality, different methods, different, almost every medium, you start understanding the quality.
Yeah.
You start seeing those quality, and then you are kind of translating those quality.
Yeah.
So I remember when I came first time.
Yeah.
There was a oil spill.
Where? First time.
Oil spill in there's a place called Tihan in Korea.
Yeah.
So actually, Samsung ship hit to some other ship, and the whole oil came out, and it was spread in the sea. If you Google that, you can see amazing pictures. It's a spectacular disaster. Very spectacular disaster.
Spectacular disaster.
So, yeah. So when I came back home, I thought I want to do some work, because I was there and I have seen people were cleaning, and huge, number of people visiting there. It's a kind of become a spot to, tourist spot also, because, it's, full of black water.
But it's also like how you said in the beginning of the interview that you said that people love to see accidents.
Yes, absolutely. So then when I was standing in our window, I saw this silicone, used in the window, which looked like very wet. Like even though it is dried and properly used for fixing glasses, we use this silicone everywhere.
Yeah.
So I thought, it's amazing. So can I use a silicon in my work? So I kind of did a research, and then I gone ahead to make a sculpture using silicon.
Yeah.
Silicon is actually a byproduct of petroleum.
Yeah.
So conceptually also it fits, and same time, it's a very new material which has a character of wetness.
Yes.
Even though it's a hard and strong, but you still feel it's very wet.
It's like fluid. Yeah. It can be
like fluid.
You can bend
or like a paste.
You can
I can say a toothpaste. Like you take out, it's a
yeah.
But it's solid. So this whole that's how material came to me.
Yeah.
Then I come up with the work called E equal to MC square.
Oh yeah, that's a famous one.
Yeah. So that's how I kind of choose material. And then new material, always you start learning more. And of course, a lot of accidents.
So
and plus a lot of failures also.
Let's switch the roles, and let's see if you can explain this to a student. How would you explain a student who's learning sculpture, or any art student, or any creative person? How would you kind of guide them down this route of playing with your materials? What advice would you give a younger student to basically say that keep experimenting? Because usually people imagine a lot of failure a part of the process, and failure is associated with a negative. It has a negative connotation, but you obviously use failure. You use failure to your advantage sometimes. You kind of like you look at it like play, right?
Yeah. I think first thing you have to feel it. Feel it in the sense.
You have to feel it.
Oh, this is quite interesting, and it's something like empathy.
Yeah, empathy.
You getting into others' shoe.
You're getting too personal.
Or you are getting into other material.
Yeah.
So once you feel, oh, this material can explain that, means the material is not just you see in case of petroleum jelly or silicon.
Yeah.
You are not just seeing it as a silicon. You are seeing it something else.
As what?
Something wet. Something in E equal to MC square.
Yeah.
It's almost like in case of apocalypse or in the war movies.
Yeah.
Last whatever objects remains in the street.
Yeah.
It gives you that kind of feeling. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's a very difficult to now. I really love after festivals in India.
Yeah.
The next day, if you go,
yeah,
it's like it almost feels like a war zone where all the materials thrown here and there, and then you walk. Your feeling is very strange.
I really appreciate this quality of yours, where you just start seeing positive things in everything bad about this country. How are you functioning this way? Like every time you're saying something, like you said, like the half-baked nature of this country, you're using it to your advantage. When you see pollution and you see something which we all see as something negative, you are extracting beauty and positivity out of it. How?
I think this is something maybe if you want to do certain thing in Western countries, everything is standardized. Yeah. Here, another kind of problem that everything standardized so that your route is very clear.
Yeah.
So when you are looking at a disorganized system.
Thank you. Yeah.
I mean, it's like I always compare it as organized and disorganized.
Yeah.
So,
no, you're right.
So,
you're right. Yeah.
So you have a chance to organize. Here we have a possibility.
Yeah,
we have we feel it's not complete. It's an uncomfortable situation.
You can work
on it. So
you
want to do something.
Yeah,
so that leads somewhere. Is there any? I mean, I'm saying I'm doing it, but I'm saying, is there any possibility which I can do it or we can think of?
That's true.
Like that's the reason I'm taking most of Indian traditional methods.
Yeah.
So Indian traditional methods of making art or a sculpture or a toy or a bronze sculpture or whatever.
Yeah.
But
That's true.
they are saturated.
Yeah. Yeah.
Since they are saturated, so how I can push them further?
Yeah.
How I can take it forward?
I've seen a sculpture of yours in which you've literally poked holes into Indian sculpture. It's like you have drilled holes. You have drilled holes into that mouse, that sculpture.
Yeah.
And you kind of like.
Yeah. It's called smoke out.
Yeah, smoke out. Yeah.
It's called smoke out. You need to smoke out.
Yeah.
So if you don't smoke out, it remains inside, and it's like traditionally there is a way they could do gold, but they didn't pass it on to others. The way of making gold. Then naturally that disappears. The method of making gold disappears.
They don't transfer the education. Yeah.
So all I want to say is all these methods, all these routes which we explore, you need to share it.
Yeah.
And so that it improvises or it goes into a second stage.
Yeah. I have seen you work. You work with local craftsmen, carpenters, fabricators, and you also work with international, what are they called? Vendors who basically do, milling or like other kind of outsourced jobs. So in a way you work, you kind of like, I want to ask you an outsourcing related question. You come across as being such a pro. I'll change the question. I'll ask you, do you still have the fear of starting fresh? The blank canvas, that feeling of, I'm going to start a new project. Do you have any like fears, insecurities? Because you keep changing your medium, so you don't know whether you're going to get the result. The same result again. There's no predictability in your life. It's all new all the time.
No, first thing, whatever I do, it has to excite. It has to give me some excitement to me.
Yeah.
That's a kind of very simple thing.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't do it. And naturally, if it is exciting, means you get to learn something.
That's true.
And you learn in the sense, I was not aware of this, and how come? Wow, this kind of feeling always, very important for me.
But then,
then
there's so much to learn. You never like, are you a specialist in one medium, or you obviously are a jack of all trades? Like, doesn't that offend you?
No, I think this way. Like our lifespan is like 80 years. 70, 80 years.
You have a philosophical.
Out of this 80 years, hardly
You have a philosophical answer for everything.
No, it's like 40 years you hardly do something. If within that 40 years, if you want to give an ultimate statement and then becomes a single point statement, you make a boring, right? So instead, what I'm feeling is, let me enjoy myself.
Yeah.
Learning more things. Learning is, I enjoy that. It is not that, I'm seriously doing it, or I'm doing it seriously, but same time, I'm, it's not that I want to know.
Yeah.
I don't want to preach something.
Yeah. That's
the moment you preach, your whole approach is different. That where you have to stand, sit on a platform.
This learning idea of yours is really interesting. I have observed you because you have learned from local craftsmen, your local fabricators in the village. You have learned from the local carpenters, and you also learn from your international vendors when you give the works for milling and when you give them for 3D modeling. So I want to ask you this concept of outsourcing things to specialists. I remember you told me when I made the film on you for the India Art Fair, you told me that you should know how to use other people's skill sets. I want to ask you this outsourcing question.
It's important.
Yeah.
It's important, and I can tell you where it is started. I got an opportunity to teach in Chitrakala Parishad for 3 months. It's art school, wherever.
Yeah.
So in that opportunity, what I did was I really took it very seriously, and I really focused on each student to understand and guide accordingly.
Yeah.
So this exercise for me opened totally a different area. So first time I realized myself that people are so unique and they have something of their own completeness.
Yeah.
It's not. It's only thing is either we have to guide them or one has to understand what is that quality they have.
Yeah.
So this once I start understanding, then I thought, oh my God, it's almost like a different colors in your watercolor box.
That's true. Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
So that exercise leaded me to observe different carpenters. When I meet all these carpenters or mason or different kind of laborers.
Yeah.
I was kind of they have their own kind of a system, a rhythm and repetition.
Yeah.
This amazed me. And then also I don't work. I don't have anybody. I'm working with 10 years, 13 years, but no.
Assistants.
Once or twice or thrice I work, I try to understand the system.
Yeah.
And then I move on. I learned something out of it.
Yeah.
So that's how it works. So I see a machine. I see these are all, different people, or from all I try to kind of learn and use those quality in the language. Sometimes, I may be not an expert in certain things.
Yes.
So all I do is I go and ask experts. So how they do this? I wanted certain effect like this.
Yeah.
So that's how I made a film also.
Yeah.
So this is very important to understand the system, and little bit I have to try also to understand it.
Yeah.
Now I'm learning ZBrush, which is totally a different area. It's an animation, tool. Yeah.
Wow. You're learning. It's amazing. You still, I can see white hair on your head, and you're still learning zebra. Are you finding it tough?
Sorry?
Are you finding the brave new world, the digital technology? No, I mean, you are such a hands-on guy when it comes to classical materials, but now while going, like on ZBrush, for example, there are so many pain points. There are so many changes you can make in software. And you have to wait. You have to wait for the rendering. You have to wait for the result. Does that?
No. It's a interesting tool.
You're pretty cool, man.
You imagine the designer of the tool.
Yeah.
Like all these tools which they design.
Yeah.
They are based on the physical exercises.
Yeah.
Like when you say watercolor brush, or in 3D when they say mold, when they say add clay or remove clay. These are all comes from the reality.
Yeah.
From the real exercise of making sculpture.
Yeah. The analog.
So all they translated that in digital. So this change, this exercise is very interesting. That something very physical. How an coding guy translates it in a virtual space.
Yeah.
And what are the problems over there?
Yeah.
And what are the that itself becomes an interesting concept to work out.
You somewhere always appreciate when engineers meet artists, don't you? Like you have this thing.
Yeah, of course.
Like you're learning.
Of course, it's a very many gestures. Like when you say when you are moving your mouse, all you are doing is a different gesture.
Yeah.
And that gesture has when it was called action painting, somebody coined the word gestural art.
Yeah.
And then you do a gesture in your computer, all has a link.
Yeah.
Because it's all human beings doing it, and they coining it certain words.
Yeah.
And then it becomes an understandable kind of a thing.
Yes. You can then easy to package.
So Yeah. It is easy to understand and to move on.
Yeah. You can give
It's an exciting.
You can give it a name. You can box it.
Yes.
Then you can work on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's what exactly they are doing it in the software. Why? Because machine demanding a clarity, too much clarity, and it becomes excess illustrative, so that it becomes it takes another form.
Yeah, that's a nice point.
So
because
this is interesting, and that's why it's boring also. Why? Because once it takes a form, it's excess illustrative.
Yeah.
And what you do and the result is are all understood. So now how to push further is another challenge.
True.
But then I think software world, it's going to kind of change. And possibilities are more.
True. Okay, I want to ask you a question. Like you're so bloody young in the brain that you're always learning from carpenters, from you're learning from all directions. Are you also learning from the people who work in the museums? Because there's this whole debate about the museums are not updating themselves. You have, for example, you mentioned the Central Vista project. So do you as an artist have any advice for the administration to kind of like you're a hands-on guy in a way? What is your what is your take on on the recent news that the Central Vista project is shifting the museums, and that you're a hardcore museology lover. So for you, this subject must be
no. But I think it's very depressing. We are going to expect you can expect a huge disaster.
Yeah.
Imagine more than 5,000 art pieces.
Yeah.
And all this unprofessional people
handling them.
Going to pack this and demolish a building.
Yeah.
And pack this and move to some other place.
Yeah.
And store there for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years.
Yeah.
And then it goes to another museum. And
anything can happen.
I mean, I can't imagine, even if you imagine a British museum is shifting, it means they will at least take 7-8 years planning
to prepare. Yeah.
To prepare.
Can you explain?
And they have a fragile material, and they have a,
I know.
And now we have people like they say they got Krishna's flute in submerged Dwarka. That kind of archaeologists and that kind of people heading and that kind of system.
Yeah.
They are shifting this in a short period, that too in the time of pandemic.
Yeah.
It's totally absurd, and 100% we can expect a disaster. Somebody said very interestingly, when you don't have money, all you think is food.
Yeah.
When you have money, it's about sex.
Okay.
When you have everything is okay, then it is all about it's a health.
Okay. Yeah.
Then finally it is all about death. You are worried about death.
Okay.
So it's like a step by step.
Yeah.
Now when you don't have a food, if you talk to him about museum object and all this thing, it's very tough.
It's very tough. Yeah.
We are in a very absurd situation.
Yes.
But same time, we are not taking responsibility as a country or as a it's a museums are a passport size photograph of the country.
That is beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that says everything. So how to kind of put forward your portrait, it's left to the country.
That's true. That's true. You kind of need to have responsibility and respect for your own country first.
Yeah, absolutely.
To do it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But have you heard nothing correct? Have you heard any good news from the Central Vista project shifting plan?
I mean, all they have to do is they have to stop. So I think, the international community, they wrote a letter and all those stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a common sense, and And then if they want to do it, it's all about ego.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I think, when Britishers started the art schools here,
Yeah.
they wanted carpenters. They don't wanted, they wanted craftsmen.
Yeah.
So
Labor. Yeah.
all they don't want a thinkers.
True.
So that was very clear.
Yeah.
And now our university is teaching same old, syllabus.
Yeah.
Like, let's say, my cousin sister used to tell me that in home she's watching LCD, and her final year project was a black and white TV.
Yeah.
So now it becomes irrelevant. Like, we are somehow becoming a irrelevant class.
That's true.
We are not, there is a in a childhood we used to say "Aata kuntu lekka killa," means you are there to count. You are there in the game, but you can't count them in the game. Like small kids and all, when they play, you ask, the mother will say, oh, no, he also let him involve in your game.
Yeah.
But then we just say, yeah, he's there, but he's not there.
Yeah.
It's the same thing going to happen in the world scene, that we are there in the game, but they will not count us.
That's true, because you're stale.
That's a sad thing.
Somewhere you didn't.
If we are not caring,
because you did not update your ideas, you did not update your systems, you did not.
Yes. Exactly.
Yes.
So if we are not there, we are not there.
And there is potential. Every student in a way has potential. Like you did when you were in school, when you were in art school. There was hardly a market, or there was anything. There was such few galleries, and there was not so many opportunities. But still, you kind of, in a way, organically have managed to, scale up your ideas and become so professional in a way.
No, it's a need. It's a need. Once you realize a need, then I still remember my first exhibition before going to the gallery. So I prepared a prototype.
In MSU Baroda.
I prepared a prototype.
In Baroda.
Sorry?
In Baroda.
Yeah. So I was studying museology, and I was very sure I wanted to become an artist. So all I did was I created a prototype, and I planned a budget. And then I proposed this to the gallery. And said, this is what I am planning. This is what, if you are saying no, I'm going to the next gallery. So I visited third gallery, and I remember Shirin Gandhi from Camol. She said to me, you are not going to any other gallery, and I'm paying your 28,000 rupees, and you are going to have a show, next season, next December.
Nice.
So in 6 months, I produced the work. I had an exhibition. I had I think it's about clarity of that time.
Yes.
So many work of that time, I know there are some limitations.
Yes.
But in that moment, you have to have a clarity of your proposal or of your thing.
Yes. And how old were you?
Sorry?
How old were you at the time?
I think I just finished my bachelor's and joined MA program over there.
So maybe you were 23, 24.
24. Yeah, 24.
Nice. That was bold move, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it helps. So I'm the opinion and the there is a thing called impressionistic opinion. So that moment, what you feel, this is something my words. You kind of, in that moment, whatever comes with the clarity, you kind of, with the understanding it is not complete, you have to make that statement, or you have to move forward.
You have a higher calling. It's not just about making sculpture. For you, it's a personal philosophical debate you're having with yourself. How come? It's like you don't think of it every time as an application, that I have to use my knowledge in my sculpture. It's something that you kind of, in a way, you just are like this as a person.
No, it's a, the another thing is you are not even making a sculpture. It's like you are refining yourself. What better I can do? What clarity I can get?
That is beautiful.
Or what,
Yeah.
How I can explain this more with much more better quality, clarity. It's with the awareness of that, it's not enough. This exercise constantly is very, very important for me.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's boring, or it's a it's a short life, and how you will make this exciting is very important. Otherwise, it's like from the day you're born, from the death, it's kind of reasonless or a time pass.
Barabar. But not for you. For you, you have fire in the belly all the time. But why is it important? I'm going to ask you this also. I'll just squeeze this in if the battery doesn't die. Why to, in a way, refine yourself? Same answer, but different question I've asked you.
Debate, the technology is so fast. Parallelly, philosophy is not working good enough, or the speed of philosophy is very slow.
That's true.
But the technology is so fast. So technologists themselves, they to sneak in, they themselves becoming philosophers.
That's true.
Which is a kind of very absurd situation. So I think it's very important to push the philosophy forward, partly because it's an ethical thing.
Yeah.
That's why, we have AI and all this new technology. It came into kind of very absurd situation where it's ruling human beings. It's hacking human mind.
Yeah.
So we should not allow, right?
I don't know. If I'm not going to pass an opinion, I'm asking you the question. You should.
Yeah, I think otherwise, if we allow to hack, that it has to kind of control certain way. We have to control certain way. Otherwise, the other people will start hacking your mind. The organized sector or organized system, watching unorganized system carefully.
Yes, that's true.
So and they are leaving it to be more unorganized, because there is a gain from it.
Yes.
Now it's going to be very sure that all driverless car going to come India or third world countries first. Why? Because they will test in India or third world countries to make sure that these are the options, or these are the ways accidents can happen.
Yeah, that's true. I never thought of it that way.
So you will get a free ride and free softwares.
Is that what you do with your sculptures also? You test them out in India before?
No, I mean,
to have a philosophical conversation in your home country, so that you can engage with the international community better. I'm just asking if you don't want to answer it.
No, I think I discussed this. I have a couple of friends in India.
Yeah.
And my WhatsApp telephone or a Zoom calls, really goes long. They're all senior people, like Dilip Ranade. There are scientists, in Manipal. They are like, whatever, all this, it's not my thoughts also. It's all reflection from their discussion with them and discussion with other people. There is a other thing which we have to really, really understand is, I was looking at Thomas Alva Edison.
Yeah.
I always feel Thomas Alva Edison invented bulb. No. It's actually, there are several people around that time working on the same goal, and he did a little here and there. And then his system was more acceptable in the commercial field, so that it becomes a popular and it looks like he invented. It is nothing about that. It's a whole community is doing it, which I have referred in earlier, that American abstract expressionism, it didn't simply come like that. They wanted to make an American art, so the government, so the people, the billionaires, all they come together and they did it, which is very difficult to think other than religion in our country. Like only when they say I'm this caste, every caste people will come and gather together.
Stupid, but anyway, it's a different culture altogether. I know what you're saying. Perfect.
Hope it's going to be, if it's a real meeting person to person, it's very,
of course,
very great.
I'm sorry it had to be this, but I'm amazed to have a conversation with somebody in Korea. And if I can just squeeze in, can you just introduce yourself? How do you
okay
how do you introduce yourself? How do you introduce yourself?
I literally say people cut this and use somewhere else, so instead you introduce is always better. So I at the moment I'm having a V caller. When you have a caller, then you can introduce better.
Okay.
So you do that.
This is LN Tallur, a man who needs no introduction, right? Come on.
Oh, yes.
Come on.
Yes, thank you.
You just Google your name and you'll get like, I think I checked this out. If I Google your name, there are like 14 pages that come on your name, which is a big number.
Really? Oh.
Till the 14th page.
But but then what is it says? As an analyst, what do you say? What is it says?
No, it's all your shows and everything comes up. All your photographs and all.
I'll tell you, I literally from the college days, I also worked on documentation. Can you say I spent around 4,000 or 5,000 rupees when I was in college, when I did the pop-up box and other exhibition. I hired a professional photographer, slide photographer, to slide those works. And it was so useful even today for me now.
Nice.
Why? Because in college days, spending 5,000 rupees on just a photography or something is really very
high number.
This expensive.
So it's been really nice talking to you, Tallur. I have a small request. Can you look into the camera? You can say no if you don't want to. But can you look into the camera and just ask people to like, comment and subscribe to the channel?
My friend Shah is really making very interesting videos on Indian artists. You must subscribe and support him. It's a need for India. So some amazing channel is kind of growing up, and it's I can see that. And now all we have to do is support whatever he needs. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay.